Helen,
And I'm Liz,
and we're sisters
scientists,
and lifelong X-Files fans.
and this is We Want to Believe.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. We watched the episode together this time. We're talking about Irresistible.
Yeah,
Which-
it is a first appearance of Donnie Faster.
Yep.
Creepy.
Makes me think of both the Beyonce song Irreplaceable, as I've said before, and it makes me think of when I worked at Applebee's and they had the Irresistibles.
Wait. You worked at Applebee's?
Yeah.
When did you work at Applebee's? How did I not know this?
You
Okay,
would come in occasionally.
The question I want to ask you is so absurd. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Wait, were you was it the Crystal Lake Applebee's?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Were you like a host?
A hostess. Mm-hmm.
Right. When was this? If somebody just said to me, hey, do you know anyone who ever works at Applebee's? I'd be like, Corey? I would have totally forgot you worked there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It would have
Oh my
been the
God.
summer of 2005. So it was right before I went off
Oh,
to
right
college.
before you went to okay, wow.
I told them that I was going to
Huh.
stay at the community college in the fall and then was like, oh, you know what? I changed my mind.
Yes, that is coming back to me because they didn't want to hire you for just a short period
Right.
of time, but you needed a job for that short period of time.
Yes. And I
Yes.
had someone you went to high school with was my manager. I can't think of his name now.
Oh,
But yeah.
really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, given that I didn't remember you worked there, I don't think I'm going to come up with his name. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, they had Irresistibles and they
got
had
it.
these obnoxious commercials.
Were they with the
Simply
Robert Palmer song?
Irresistible.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And so many people would make such dumb jokes when you
Oh, really?
like,
if,
seat them and-
customers? Oh, God.
yeah. Like
How do they even have
oh.
time to make dumb jokes when you're seating them? Like, man.
Because I would have to seat them and then do the whole like, oh, we've got this and this and this,
Okay,
ask your
yeah.
waitress about blah, blah, blah.
Okay, yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
I do still remember, I'm not going to sing them, but I do still remember both of the happy birthday songs for Applebee's.
All right, let me ask this. How many emails from our listeners would it take for you to sing them both?
I don't know, two. I mean, I'm kind of
You're-
tempted right now.
All right. You'll go on.
Yeah. No,
So-
that's it.
Oh, so you're not gonna sing them now, but you will,
No.
but it won't take much. Okay.
Right.
All right,
exactly.
2 emails. We want
Mhm.
seems like a good time to remind you our email is wewanttoBelievePod@gmail.com. Tell
Yep.
Helen to sing the Applebee's song.
Yep. Yeah, but Irresistible, not an irresistible, nor is it irreplaceable. It's just bad.
Yeah, I mean the episode isn't bad.
I mean, right. No, it's a good episode.
yeah.
And in fact, it wasn't as creepy as I remember, because I think the second one of these is
Yes.
way creepier, and that's what
I
I
think-
remember more.
I think that I have a lot of memories of this episode that are actually the second episode he appears in,
Yes.
which is
Mhm.
season 7,
Oh,
Horizon.
no kidding.
Yeah, I
Really?
looked it up today. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't
Yeah,
realize
'cause-
it was that far.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, that is the one where there's like this creepy song playing, Don't Look Any
Yup.
Further. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's the one where Scully shoots him and is like and Mulder says, like, do you feel like God made you shoot him? And she's like, what if it wasn't God or something, like maybe like the devil was
Yeah.
involved or something. Yeah.
Yes. She keeps
Yeah.
seeing the number 666 appearing
Right.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one really got to me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, this one was still creepy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was, I mean, I weirdly did not remember a lot of it.
Yeah.
I
It
was
also was
surprised by some things.
teasing supernatural elements, but really didn't actually have anything.
No, it
to it.
really didn't. Other than Scully's visions at the end, which
Mhm.
could just be you've been kidnapped and you're under stress. It was
Right.
almost real.
Right.
I was reading some stuff about why people think he's the scariest villain, and that is
Ooh.
one person's theory is that because it isn't supernatural, they were like, look, the fluke man is not going to come get you.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah, yeah. So we start out at a young woman's funeral and we see like a creepy guy kind of lingering. He appears to work for the funeral home, and some other guy tells him that they'll be keeping the body overnight, like his supervisor, something.
Yeah.
And so everyone's gone, and it shows him walk up to the casket and caress her hair and call her
Ugh.
beautiful.
Ugh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so then we see the other guy in the back of the funeral home doing stuff. There's some chemicals involved. So Liz and I watched this episode together and we're chatting during it.
Like on
And
Zoom chatting.
right. And I had asked, why is it so dark in there? And I still maintain that it was overly dark in there. Yes, it was night, but he didn't appear to be like shutting things down for the night. I don't know.
Okay.
It seemed
Okay.
weird to me that he'd be in
I mean,
like a
honestly, I just thought it was like a really poorly lit scene. Even if it was supposed to be dark, I was still like, what is happening? Like, why did
Yeah.
they make this choice? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he's in there, it is weird. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
And so he sees, he kind of hears a noise and he looks around and you see like an outline of a demon, essentially, what you might
Yeah. Like a shadow.
think of one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, and so the guy turns on the light and it's Donnie. And he says, what are you doing here so late? And he says, working, which is like great. And he looks and sees that he's holding shears and there's hair on the ground. And he says, what the hell were you doing? And he opens the coffin and sees that he's cut off a bunch of the girl's hair. And so he yells,
terrible haircut. Yeah.
Yeah. And he yells, tells him to get out and not come back, and says something like, I should call the authorities, which, like, why didn't he?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that seems like a pretty big, a pretty clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Why didn't he call the authorities?
Yeah.
So Donnie Pfaster, first thing I noticed about him, younger than I remembered.
Well,
But
they say later that he's 28.
Which is ridiculous. I looked it
know.
up. The actor was 34 at the time, which
Oh,
is
okay.
a little better, but still weird. I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't look 28. I feel like he looks about my age or a little younger.
Yeah.
But I'm in my early 40s. I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah, I would have said mid to late 30s.
Yeah. Real creepy. Weird affect. I don't know. Didn't like how he talked. I don't know if I've told you this because I learned it a long time ago and then I verified it today that originally it was intended that he'd be a necrophiliac, but that Fox would not allow that. Fox, the network, not Fox the Mulder. Yeah. And so Chris Carter kind of made him like a death fetishist into like hair and fingernails as like a compromise. And so I feel like Scully's reactions to some of the stuff in this episode make more sense if he's a necrophiliac.
Yes. So had it like all planned out that way?
Yeah. So it's unclear to me if anything was filmed, but it was written originally so that he was a necrophiliac and they changed it.
Okay. And that's kind of what I remembered him being.
I think they kind of tried to like give you necrophiliac vibes without saying it.
Yeah.
Yes. Can I ask you a biology question?
Always.
What's a hemophiliac again? Can you remind me?
Someone with hemophilia isn't able to, their blood doesn't clot properly.
Right. So why is it called that when like a necrophiliac is very different? Like I would think a hemophiliac is like, ooh, I love hemoglobin.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like we just love blood, can't clot it, just really want to just see it all, So.
Yeah, and I was just double checking on Google to make sure, like, is there like a spelling difference?
I don't think so, right?
No, yeah. So no, hemophilia is, like the Crown Prince of Russia like a blood
What?
disorder.
I'm sorry. What did you just say? The Crown Prince of Russia? Did I have a
Yeah.
stroke? No, we weren't. Why did you just say those words? Hemophiliac is the Crown Prince of Russia?
No, like Anastasia's brother was a hemophiliac.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, it was, kind of important.
To who?
I don't know.
I guess to
Me.
him, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I mean,
The
I
Russian.
don't like he would have been just as dead from the revolutionaries regardless, right? Like it's not
Yes.
like the hemophilia led to him dying.
No.
Is it important because he was inbred?
Well, that is potentially part of it. Yeah. So, so talking about the last Russian Tsar, Nicholas, and and him and the Tsarina, Alexandra, I think. They were both descendants of Queen Victoria, I believe.
Oh, no kidding.
Or related. Yeah, I think so. Like pretty much anyone royal at a certain point in time is somehow related to her. Like she had a bunch of kids and
Oh
they had
God.
kids
And
that
then
all
just
married
like
one another.
go marry other royal people for
Yeah.
networking purposes. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, that probably is why, because it's a recessive gene. And so
Okay.
that's probably why. But yeah, it's more important in like the perception of the Russian nobility at the time and some of the things that like led up to the fall of Russia or the fall of the Tsar.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean that's how she sought out Rasputin. Rasputin.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. You know where I get pretty much all of my knowledge of these events.
The movie Anastasia.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. In my head, I'm going, have you heard there's a rumor in St. Petersburg? Yeah.
I mean,
So
Bartok the
sometimes,
Bat really is
yeah,
great.
I know. I do like Bartok. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get really crazy with the hips. I feel like sometimes Adam will say things about Russian history, and I'll be like, that's not how I know it from Anastasia.
Now that it's occurring to me, like there's some kind of scary parts in it.
In Anastasia?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if I sell it as to my kids as being like, oh, maybe it's too scary for you, then they'll want to watch it.
Yeah.
And then we can watch Anastasia, which is great.
That seems like a good plan.
Great movie.
I just have a really exciting announcement.
Ooh.
Somebody who hasn't managed to lay in his favorite spot on the rug just figured it out.
Oh, Archer.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Last episode, while we're off on a tangent, you mentioned his surgery. Do you want to do like a
I'll do a quick
Archer
recap.
update?
He is figuring out how to walk. I'm going to take his muzzle off him. He's been wearing his muzzle because all he wants to do is lick at his incision, open it up, and go back in the hospital and cost me thousands of dollars and scare me very bad. That is his main goal. But I have to thwart him. So no, I'm sure it's really itchy. I think he's in an itchy stage of healing. Oh, he's doing a scratchy face. He says itchy face. Itchy face. He's been wanting to lay. He likes to lay like flat in the middle of our living room carpet and just like really stretch out. And he finally figured out how. He's been doing good. He can go down a couple of stairs on his own. He's getting real stable on his feet. He's walking a little bit further each day, but he still doesn't have a lot of stamina. We're going to talk to the oncologist today or tomorrow and make an appointment. It seems like dogs tolerate chemo really well, apparently.
Oh,
it's not,
no kidding.
It's not like in people. Most of them have no side effects.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All right. So he's maybe gonna not bug us. We'll see. But he's doing well. He was having some trouble sleeping, but I think we got that figured out with medication, which means I get to sleep, which is the whole reason I don't sound absolutely insane. Had we recorded this a day ago when he did not sleep, I don't know. I was like, I mean, I was not real well. Did we talk yesterday? Oh, we did, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. A couple times.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't doing real well. I know at some point we were watching Taskmaster, and if you haven't watched it, I mean, it's a British game show essentially where they have 5 comedians, and they have to do different goofy tasks and they talk about them. And I was like thinking to myself, they should have a Taskmaster for dogs. And then I was like, oh, I need sleep. So
I did buy Gatsby a puzzle to try to keep him
oh,
entertained.
nice.
And he figures out the puzzle and then destroys the puzzle.
Wait, really?
Yeah. He can't be left alone with it because he just
Oh my God.
he got all the food out and then was like, well, while I'm chomping on things, why don't I break it?
Oh God, Gatsby. So you need
Yeah.
like some sort of titanium puzzle or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you should give him like a bank vault and see if you can figure it out, you know? And then you can
Man.
that'll start your like heist career with him.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that only 10% of bank robberies are caught and prosecuted.
And you know the reason I know this is I'm pretty sure in season 1 of our podcast you told me that, and we're talking about maybe considering bank robbery. I know you're the one that told me. I'm not sure if it was recorded, but that is wild. That is a really small percentage. That shocks me. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although I'd like to see that over time, like, because I imagine that anyway, we don't have to go down that road.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Mulder and Scully.
And Donnie Pfaster, very creepy, not technically a necrophiliac, but giving those vibes.
Yes. And so they talked to a detective, and it kind of turns out that they were pulled into the case because the detective thought it was an alien thing.
Yeah, that guy was weird. Detective Box?
Yeah.
Box? I think Box.
I didn't catch it. Yeah.
I think it was Box. I was looking up the episode on IMDb because I felt like everyone looked familiar, and I was convinced I'd seen everyone in something else, and I have seen no one. No one has been in anything I've seen.
I really thought that a girl in the episode was Anna Kendrick. I really thought.
Yeah, she looked like her. Yeah.
And so they're kind of
but Detective Box, who thinks it's aliens, he has kind of a Columbo vibe, I thought. Like his manner of speaking reminded me of Columbo. Did we mention this is Minneapolis?
Nope, I was gonna get there because Mulder, so they get in the car, Mulder is like, no, this isn't aliens, essentially. And Scully is like, well, why did you bother pulling us here? And it's because he had Vikings tickets.
Right.
So they're in the Twin Cities. And then we see Donnie interviewing at a delivery place, like being a delivery driver for some sort of food company, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's being super creepy. He says that he used to be a cosmetologist and did hair and nails. He says that he needs a job to put him through school, that he's studying comparative religions.
Yeah, which makes me think more like he's the devil or whatever, or a demon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so Mulder
and the interviewer is also weird because she's like, oh, are you religious?
Time.
I have to say that like our founder likes that or whatever. He also compliments her on her lipstick and she looks flattered. And I was like, is this flirting? This is not flirting. What a beautiful color. I think it's called blah, 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 autumn sunset or whatever. And she's like, oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. If someone knew the color of my lipstick, I would be
oh my God.
And
you're interviewing someone? I mean, we've both been on interview committees. Can you imagine?
No.
As bad of interviews as I have witnessed, I have not witnessed anything like that.
No, thanks. No, thanks. But
he's hired as food delivery guy.
Yeah, he is eventually hired. Yeah. And so Mulder and Scully check in with the detective and find out that hair has been cut from 2 more bodies. And I kind of didn't get
like how they knew that or who or where. Right. Yeah, I wasn't clear on that either.
And that fingernails had been pulled. And Scully walks out again. I didn't mention that she looked kind of bothered at the gravesite.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting because like she has a really hard time with this case. And throughout the whole thing, I was kind of thinking like, well, okay, it's creepy, but like no more creepy than like a lot of the other stuff.
Let's call back to a couple episodes ago when she's handcuffed to a woman who she has to shut in a separate room so that the
Right.
handcuffs are between the locks, and the woman throws herself up against the glass and a fungus thing bursts out of her neck. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it did seem
Yeah.
pretty weird that like this was bothering her so much.
Right. So
I guess
if
we
you,
all have our things that get us more than other things,
yeah.
but it still seemed odd.
Yeah. Knowing that it was potentially going to be necrophilia makes a little bit more sense to me.
Agreed.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, Mulder's talking to the detective, and the detective says something kind of stupid, like, "Why do you want to alert people if he only preys on dead people?" Which I think
Yeah.
was just like a setup, essentially, for Mulder to explain how he thinks he's going to escalate to
Yeah.
living people. And he says something like, "People wonder why it took so long to catch this kid in Milwaukee."
Yeah. Yeah.
Truth is, no
Dahmer.
one ever believed it could happen. Yeah. Um,
And that
interestingly,
was, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, were you going to say that?
I was just gonna give like time comparison that
Yeah.
this episode came out in January of 95 and Dahmer was caught in the summer of 91.
Oh my gosh, was it only that recent?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah, I
thought
remember
it
when
was.
I remember when Dahmer was caught. Like
Do you?
kid Yeah, oh yeah, kids my age were talking about it. I mean, we live so
Whoa.
close.
Yeah.
Although at the time I didn't have a great sense of that. You know, I didn't understand the
Right.
significance of how close that was. It just seemed like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, but like people making tasteless Dahmer jokes and like,
Mm.
because like summer of 91, I think I was going into fifth grade. That feels true.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going into fifth grade. So everybody was talking about it. Adults were talking about
Mhm.
it, and then adults had talked about it, and older kids had talked about it, and then the people my
Right.
age would talk. So yeah, yeah.
Wow.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, so a few weeks ago I was talking to an acquaintance, a friend, and he grew up in the Milwaukee suburbs-ish, and he's gay, and he has an
Oh
uncle who
God.
is gay. And so he said that like his uncle living in the Milwaukee suburbs was
Oh
like
my God.
out and dating during the time that
Oh
Dahmer
my
was preying
God.
on young men. And
Oh
so
my
he
God.
remembers that like really clearly,
Yeah,
which
that's
is,
terrifying.
yeah.
Oh
Hmm.
my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Um, so
So yeah,
yeah.
I do feel like they kind of gave him Dahmery vibes,
Yeah. Hmm.
in a way. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. With some of the I know surprisingly little about Dahmer, I
Oh,
guess
okay.
compared to how much I know about other serial killers.
Oh, okay.
Just because he's so terrible that like a lot of the true crime podcasts I listen to won't cover him.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, but like, I mean, I don't know how much that you can't like quantify horribleness and suffering, but like, I mean,
Right.
Ageen is also pretty awful.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
you know,
right. And
like,
Gacy, like
and
it's not
Gacy,
like,
yeah, yeah, right. Um, and Gacy, our mom had been invited to a party at
had she
Gacy's
been
house.
invited? I don't think I knew that. I just knew that she had friends who would go dancing at his house.
Oh,
Like
I
she
thought she
had,
was invited. I
I
don't
know,
know.
maybe. I know that
I know
she
she,
had one
yeah, she
woman
had
she worked
friends.
with and then a different friend from college. Both
Yeah,
were
would
friends
go
with
to
him
his parties.
separately, which is insane.
Yeah,
Like it's one of those
yeah.
things that growing up, you don't realize how weird something is. And like,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
it's still kind of a lot of serial killers in this part of the country. I don't know. Are they
Yeah,
evenly
I mean,
distributed? I guess it's a higher population density.
yeah, I think probably similar to cults.
Yeah, we were talking about,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I know, I mean, the Pacific Northwest
Mm.
has a very abnormally high amount of them as well.
Oh, okay.
But I mean,
Interesting.
Gacy, Dahmer, Geen, those are all
Oh, Ed Gein. Oh,
Midwest.
yeah, of course. We've talked about that because he was
Yep.
in
In Mid.
Madison. Yeah.
Yep.
In
Hmm.
Mendota. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My first graduate advisor was a grad student in Chicago at the time that Gacy was caught.
Oh.
And he was one of the forensic anthropologists that excavated underneath his
Oh
house.
my God. Oh,
Hmm.
no kidding.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
So
So where were
yeah,
we? Donnie
right.
Faster. Oh yeah. So yeah, they're like, hey, we need to tell the public that this dude is doing stuff. The guy also makes reference to like, hey, this isn't DC. This is, people don't lock their doors here. People are trusting. And I felt like, I don't know, Minneapolis is not as big as DC, but it's not a small
Right.
town. Let's not act
Yeah.
like it's a small town.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I had the same thought. Yeah. So we see Donnie out driving and he picks up a sex worker and says that he wants to hire her for a few hours. And they get to his apartment and it's really cold in there. And he says that he'd like to run her a bath. And she comes in the bathroom and he asks if her hair is treated. Does
All
she
his
need shampoo for
questions.
chemically treated hair?
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah.
So
All
gross.
those questions, so creepy. I also want to say that I don't think that in reality there are that many towns that have what they showed us as like a very stereotypical sex worker district with a bunch of women standing on the
Oh,
street
yeah.
corner, and they're small enough that people leave their doors unlocked.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
I just feel like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think both of these are typically true.
Except in Minneapolis. It's the
Special
perfect,
land.
yeah.
It's the exact right size for unlocked
Yeah.
doors and stereotypical prostitute
Large
areas.
district
Yeah.
of, yeah.
Yeah.
So she's clearly confused and a little weirded out. And the phone rings while she's undressing. And it's the woman from the delivery place saying that he's been hired. And the woman comes out, the sex worker comes out and like walks into the bedroom where Donnie's answering the phone, and is weirded out because the water was cold in the bath he was running.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she sees that there are funeral flowers everywhere, all over his bathroom or bedroom.
Yeah.
And so we hear her scream, and then it cuts to cop cars, and her body had been left in the street. And the cops are saying that she died knife to the torso. Her hair was cut off, her fingernails were taken, and some fingers themselves had been taken.
Yeah.
And Scully, once again, is kind of hanging back.
And I just want to say, I felt a little annoyed. I felt like tell me if you get this vibe that it's like, we want to show the seriousness of this, so we're going to have him kill someone. But it's a prostitute, so it's not as bad. Like that's sort of like, oh,
like
it's
compared
not...
to the other things that are coming in the episode.
Yeah,
the
like
other
the
potential victims.
Yeah, that like of the
Right.
victims he actually gets, it's a sex worker. And I just feel like there's nothing in the episode said disparaging about the woman or anything like that. I just feel like from a writing perspective, maybe without them even realizing it, there's a sense of this will be a little bit less upsetting if, it's somebody in a dangerous job or something. And I did not care for that.
See, I just kind of took it as more reality, not in that like anyone should be targeted more, or that, they shouldn't investigate them. Well, or just that like these types of predators do tend to prey on people that won't have, like a lot of people notice that they're missing necessarily.
That makes sense.
Or that are in high risk jobs.
Sense.
I don't know.
I also thought she had a really cute outfit. I was just
her
like,
hair
that's just
was
like,
really pretty.
Her hair. Oh God, Helen, she has beautiful hair.
Oh no, it's happening.
I thought like, cute black ankle boots, dark tights. It was very 90s. It was cute. Yeah. Anyway, so
then we
so
see him working. Yes, we see him working then as a delivery driver, and the woman invites him right in.
Yeah, that's normal. Like, I mean, they had frozen food delivery stuff in the 90s, I guess. But nowadays, I feel like so many of us do that, post-COVID. Can you imagine a scenario where someone like you regularly order groceries and you're like, oh, come on in? Like,
no.
Like
no.
And then you replaced Stan. Oh, honey, come here and skip.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. Honey, come here and meet Skip's replacement. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes to use the bathroom and looks through their trash. And here in my notes, I wrote just like Gatsby.
Oh,
And
Gatsby is not Donnie Pfaster.
no, but he does take hair out of the trash, just like Donnie does. Um, and then the mom says, oh, if we're ever not home, we leave the back door open, which is great.
Who says that to
Great.
someone you just met? Like, I mean, even
I
ignoring the
don't know.
fact that he's got a real creepy affect, like,
Right. Yeah. No, thanks.
now tell me if I'm remembering wrong. We only watched this about an hour ago. Nothing happens with these women.
No, and honestly, I was surprised. I kind of thought there was going to be.
I mean, absolutely, you'd think so. It was set up. Why were we told that she leaves her door unlocked? And like, we met her teenage daughter and he seemed interested, and they both had very nice, long, dark hair.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
unless
weird.
there was going to be and they cut it.
Yeah, maybe.
And so they'd set it up that way. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was odd.
Yeah. And so it cuts to Scully doing the autopsy. One thing I noticed about this part is that so she's like narrating her notes as she's doing, as it shows her doing the autopsy. And I don't know. It just sounded a lot like, I don't know, papers I would maybe write in grad school about like the archaeology of death, like the way she's talking about death and stuff. I want to be like, this is just a report, Scully. Like, just tell us what you see. I don't know. Like, I was being judgmental.
That's fair. Like, it's a little like, I need to give context and show that I know stuff about this, but also I don't have a very deep understanding of it. Or like,
or just like overly flowery,
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Like the implications that in grad school I had to show that I knew about something, but I didn't actually know what I was talking about.
I obviously didn't mean it that way. I meant, despite that being exactly what I said, what I meant more was, as a grad student, you are still learning things. And try.
No, I'm not actually offended.
I think I was more thinking about the fact that the writers probably don't actually know this stuff or whatever.
Right. So we see Donnie in a classroom, and he's staring at one of his classmates.
Right. Wait, at which point Helen texts me, man, and we thought we had bad students.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Although I did have a student who, what is that noise?
Isn't that on your end?
No.
Is it the bells?
It's not the bell. Although it's funny. Don't you hear that?
I hear something faintly, like a...
Yeah.
It's definitely not in my house. Ugh, I hope not.
Huh. What's weird is that Zach works in the same building as me. And he came up to my office earlier and was like, what is that noise? And I was like, oh, that's the bells. And apparently he can't hear them from his office. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Anyway, we have had some bad students. I had one who I was told by human resources that they couldn't do anything about it because his threats were only implicit, that they could only do something when his threats became explicit.
Are you kidding me?
No, you don't remember that? That guy at UWM? Yeah, I was in grad school at the time.
The main thing I remember at UWM is your one student, who I won't name, who we just have acknowledged is the worst student a person could have. And so I remember her.
Oh, no. He was much worse because he was like actually a creep.
Like scary. Okay.
Yeah. And he wouldn't. I had to start having my friend Alex, who was in grad school with me, and he's like a big guy with a beard, and he would have to meet me after class.
That's right. Oh my God, that's so creepy.
Because otherwise he would just like not leave me alone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember that. Oh my God, that's so outrageous. Oh, we can't do anything if the threats are implicit.
Yeah.
Sure, you can.
Yeah. Like, what I'll also say about the student, and this may jog your memory, that he was the one who was acting like, well, I know what I'm talking about. And he was, well, I've been in college for 8 years. And,
it's a joke from Tommy Boy.
Yeah, yep. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are in college for 8 years. Yeah, they're called doctors. Yeah.
I can't believe him bragging about what he knows is I've been in college for 8 years. That's phenomenal. I
Yeah.
haven't thought about that in a while. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Donnie is staring at one of his classmates, and then it shows them both, or her at least, walking out to her car. And he kind of startles her as she's getting into the car, and she's clearly freaked out. And he like comes close to her and asks her a question about the readings. And when she turns back from looking it up in her notes, he's got like his hand on the open car door, kind of closing her in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so she hits him and runs away and yells for help. And I think that's like 5 minutes ago. What?
The noise again.
Yeah. That's like, so the sex worker was killed. This girl gets away.
Yes.
Like, so that's what we were just alluding to, was my point.
Yes.
So then we see Scully in the autopsy again, and she looks down and she's the one on the table. And then it kind of shows from her point of view, there's a demon staring down at her.
Oof. Yeah.
And
I thought it was going to be a flashback to her, having been abducted by aliens and or the government.
Yeah, same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And but she was dreaming. She wakes up and it's Mulder saying they've arrested someone who fits the description.
Right.
And has a history of assault and stuff. But it's not him.
No. But he's there.
Yes, he is. Yep. He's in a cell behind them. And
after having assaulted or, attempted to assault that fellow student of his.
Mm-hmm. And so they talk, or so they talk to the guy who's not him and leave and are like, that's not him. And when they leave, Donnie talks to the other guy and is like, hey, was that the FBI? And he says, yeah. And that he remembered that the woman's name was Scully, like the baseball announcer.
Right.
Which I'm assuming there's a baseball announcer named Scully.
Oh, yes. You don't know Vin Scully, announcer for the Dodgers?
No.
I don't either. I Googled it. No, I have no idea.
You watch a lot more baseball than me.
I mean, that's true. So. Yeah. I vaguely recognize the name. I guess he was like a Dodgers announcer, very beloved for like decades and decades.
Oh,
so,
okay.
And he just died like last year, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yes. And like her and Donnie, Scully and Donnie had this moment where they like looked at each other like, as they were leaving the jail. And I was like, she's being psychic or something. She knows he's bad.
Yeah. And so there's a part where like Scully and Mulder are kind of talking about the fact that this is starting to bother her and she's insisting it doesn't, but that she'll maybe take the body back to Washington to collect more evidence on it.
Which kind of surprised me that they couldn't get fingerprints off the body in Minneapolis.
Yeah. I mean, FBI labs are better, but that seems, I don't know.
They don't have an FBI lab in Minneapolis? I mean,
they probably do. Yeah.
I just feel like, have I been misled about the size of Minneapolis? Like,
no, I don't think so. I've been there several times.
Yeah.
And yeah. And Mulder's nice and saying like, you don't need to hide anything from me.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, I'm fine. So she is back at the FBI and they're going to do further fingerprint analysis. And she goes to talk to someone at the employee assistance program and is talking to a woman there.
I was very glad to see her taking advantage of that and going and talking to a therapist. I didn't especially think the therapist was very good, but like she could have been worse. At least Scully was trying to talk through issues.
Yes, agreed. And so afterwards she meets with the fingerprint guy again, and there's a print on the woman's fingernail. And so she is about to call. Oh, what?
Oh, well, he also says, oh, some guy called for you. Yeah.
Another agent.
Out of
the Minneapolis office.
So they do have an office.
They do. And so she calls Mulder to tell him about the fingerprint and is like, hey, did you call me? Like, did, anyone here? And he says, no one called her. No one called.
Yeah.
So it shows
So
the
we know that
FBI.
it was definitely Donnie Faster who called to like
Yes.
figure out because the fingerprint man says, "Oh, she's going to be on a plane back to Minneapolis tonight."
And that's why you never do that stuff. That's why you don't, like they always say if you work in like retail and someone comes in and is like, "Oh, is so and so working? When will they be working?" You never give out those details.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donnie Faster.
Yeah.
So it shows the FBI breaking into his house or apartment. Oh, it's an archer.
He's right
Oh, hi,
there.
hi, little
He's
buddy.
right there. Yeah. He's just
Oh,
standing. He's so good at standing. He's got it
Oh.
figured out.
yeah.
So good.
Who needs 4 legs?
Yeah. They say they were born with 3 legs and a spare, is the expression.
Oh.
Well, I'm pleased to report that there is a man walking by and Archer is watching him go and being like, "Do you have a dog with you?" Keeping an eye on things. So that's good.
That is good. So
That's
he's
one of his
okay.
jobs.
He's okay with people passing by.
People are fine. Yeah. Dogs are not.
Dogs are not.
He's not sure about people with strollers because there could be a dog inside.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he doesn't seem to differentiate with the size of the dog. It could be a tiny dog, like way far in the distance. And he's like, "I don't like it. Keep that thing away." Anyhow, so Scully's on a plane back to Minneapolis.
Right. So, and the FBI breaks into his house because of the fingerprint.
Right.
And there's a pillowcase stuffed with hair.
Ugh.
And a frozen finger in with frozen Brussels sprouts.
Oh.
Yeah. And
which just seemed really random. Why is it with the vegetables?
To hide it, probably, right?
Why is he hiding it?
So if someone comes to his house and looks in his freezer, they don't see fingers. I don't know.
I
This
guess.
is weird to me.
I don't know. He's got a bunch of funeral wreaths in his bedroom. I mean,
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. Scully gets to Minneapolis and rents a car, and Donnie's following her.
yeah.
And then
he runs her off the road.
Yep. And so Mulder and the other detective are concerned because she should have arrived by then. And another detective comes in and says that they found Scully's car. And so then there's some back and forth about like trying to figure out where she might be. Essentially, they eventually
they figure out the make of the car based on the paint sample. And the whole thing seems like she's been with him for a really long time at this point. But as far as we can see from Scully's perspective, she's just kind of sitting in a closet tied up.
Yes. And at one point we see that from her point of view that he's a demon outline again.
Yeah. They show him having, is that the scene where he has some other faces?
No, that's
okay.
Next.
Okay.
So Mulder and the other detective figure out that he is at his mother's old house. That's where he would have taken her. And so then we see Donnie cutting the ties off Scully's hands. And this is when she kind of sees him shifting and looking like a bunch of different people, maybe also a demon.
Any idea who those people were or what the significance was?
My thoughts, well, they all seem to be like average looking white men. And so my thought was like to show that he could blend in and be anyone, essentially.
Oh, my very first thought
was the
when
way
I
I
first
took it.
shifted was, is she hallucinating that he's one of the people who abducted her? And then I was like, no, because the next person he turns into kind of looks like Manson with all the hair.
Oh, interesting.
But I don't
remember
think
that.
he was supposed to be Manson. He just had kind of a Manson-y vibe. So yeah, just like shapeshifter thing, kind of like the Michael Jackson video for Black and White.
Yes, yeah. A lot like that. Yeah. And so he takes her into the bathroom and, "Is your hair normal or dry?" And she looks suitably freaked out, and she kind of backs up and then runs at him and pushes him in the tub
and is running.
And
and then he says,
"You want to do it?"
Yeah.
"There's no way out, girly
girl." Ugh, the girly girl. Hate it. I'd forgotten about it. So creepy. He says it again as he's trying to find her in this house.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked last week about how Little Sister is
Right. I
bad.
was about to ask, which one's better, you think?
I think Little Sister's much better. I think Girly Girl is worse.
I
Well, I
think
guess
it
it probably
depends
depends
who
on
it's
who's
coming
saying
from.
it. Yeah. Like if
Yeah.
it's like a saucy aunt calling you
Yeah.
Girly Girl, I think that'd be okay.
Yeah.
I
But
don't know
could a
who that
saucy
like,
aunt also call you little sister and it'd be okay?
yeah, but they wouldn't.
Hmm. No?
I don't know. I mean,
All right, let's say our friend Amanda. What would
okay,
be
it's
more
Amanda.
creepy for her to say to you?
Why would she call me Little Sister though? I'm the older sister.
I don't know.
Maybe she's calling you that and I'm
Sure.
witnessing
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd be really creeped out if she called you Little Sister. I'd be like, you've never done that before. That's weird.
Yeah, girly girl would freak me out less coming from
Yeah.
Amanda.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
It would still be out of character, but it would be like maybe she had a drink and is just feeling kind of goofy.
Right.
Whereas
Yes.
Little Sister would just be bizarre. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
like, I guess, yes, you are Liz's little sister. Why are you calling me
Yeah.
that? Yeah. Again, I think those two mice, then that
Yeah.
exchange that you mentioned in Robin Hood are the only ones who get away with it. So
Mhm.
maybe what I think is from someone creepy, Girly Girl is worse. But
Mhm.
in general, on average, including the fact that the average population is not creepy, is not like Donnie Pfaster, Little Sister is worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's correct.
What do we think about the Elvis song where he says, Little sister, don't you do what your big sister does?
Oh,
And he says
Elvis
little
can
sister
do
over and over. Okay.
anything.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
Especially because there's a big sister involved. Like he's
Yeah.
clearly talking to two
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Donnie goes to get a gun. And he's looking all around and finally finds Scully hiding, and she sprays some sort of chemical in his face and kind of runs past him, but they tumble
Cherry
down the
Banaka.
stairs.
Just kidding. That's Seinfeld. I always
Such
think
a
of
great
that.
episode,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
And as they tumble down the stairs, the gun falls out of his hand. And she
Right.
grabs it and she's about to shoot him when Mulder and the other detective and the FBI
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah. I'm glad that like she was going to be able to save herself because I
Yes.
feel like it would have been less compelling to be like Scully is worried the whole episode, eventually gets abducted, and then she's saved. Like,
Yeah, agreed.
whether that would be maybe more realistic in that it'd be really tough to overpower someone who abducted you. I still
Yeah.
liked it narratively better that she was able to save herself and would have shot him.
I agree.
And eventually does in that other episode. So
Yeah. And Mulder, well, it shows then like Mulder hugging her while she kind of breaks down a bit,
Yeah.
which was nice.
And I mean, I thought it was good that she like broke down and was honest with Mulder because
Yeah.
like again, she's going through some stuff. My God, who wouldn't? And Mulder, for all his flaws, is a trustworthy dude who cares about her.
Yes.
So.
Mhm. And so then Mulder's the one at the end taking notes and narrating. And
Yeah.
it shows like pictures of Donnie growing up and talks about how he had a normal upbringing and how this eventually could be anyone, happen to anyone.
I don't think
And-
that's true though.
No?
You think anyone could end up like Donnie Pfaster?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
I meant more from the victim's point of view. That like it
Oh.
could, yeah.
That you don't know who to suspect or whatever.
Right, exactly.
No, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that it's
Yeah.
like the bad guys don't wear scary black outfits and look like villains and mustache twirling
Right.
sort of things, that it could be anyone. Okay, yeah, that does make sense to me. I thought you
Yeah.
meant, look, any one of us could end up like Donnie Pfaster. So, Yeah, I thought it was weird that they showed all these childhood photos of him. I really tried. I took like 2 minutes to try to figure out who the kid was in the photos, and I couldn't figure it out. Because
yeah.
I was like, what if he's been in other stuff? Or
Maybe it was him.
who is he?
I mean,
Yeah,
it could have been
I
an
mean-
actor.
Yeah,
They do that sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, I found that very creepy. Have you read the book The Gift of Fear?
No, but I've heard a lot about it. Gavin DeGraw?
Yeah. Yeah. Have you heard good things? I'm curious what you've heard.
I feel like I've heard mixed things that like it's mostly good, but there's one or two chapters that are weird.
Oh, interesting.
But I don't remember which chapters. I mean, keeping in mind I've never read it, so
Right. I read it once and liked it a lot. Maybe there were one or two chapters that were weird, but I couldn't tell you now because it's been a while.
Yeah.
Although it's actually on my bookshelf behind me somewhere.
Oh.
But one thing
is that going to go on the is the gift of fear going to go on the decision tree about what to read next that you are making for Zach?
No, that is
Oh, right. It's
purely
only fantasy novels. That's right.
Romantasy, especially.
Oh, I hear romantasy is having a moment. Let me tell you, in publishing.
It is one of my favorite genres, if not my favorite genre. You look displeased.
I look displeased because I'm trying to sell a domestic suspense. And I just feel like, romantasy. Let's just, everybody buy romantasy. Okay. Can somebody please just buy a straightforward murder story that takes place in Amsterdam? So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that's why I look displeased. Nothing against that type of book. Just that, like, what happens is the editors of these houses get like, this is the big trend. Let's buy this. But publishing moves so slowly that it's stupid anyway, because if I were to sell a book today, odds are it would not come out until end of 25, maybe 26, if it was with a big house. Like, so trends are going to be different by then. Like, so why are we prioritizing trends so narrowly? Then the market gets glutted with books that are all the same. All right.
Right.
This
reminds me of a meme I saw recently. This is certainly just as off topic, if not more, about how something like, I agree that in 2012 we had way too many frozen yogurt places, but we didn't have to get rid of them all.
Oh, yeah, it is like that. Yeah. And we did get rid of them all.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Because when we first moved into our house, there were like 2 in walking distance, and there was one in Platteville we'd go to, and like,
I remember Zach and I in 2010 or 11 going on a date in downtown Madison and like walking, and we were going to get frozen yogurt and being like, well, where do we go? There's one on this block. There's one across the street. There's one on the block down. Like, it was just like,
I feel like that's what's happening with bubble tea right now. Like,
oh, really? I feel like that was a few years ago.
I know this. This is what I know. I feel like this is not, I said that like it's going to be big and important. When I'm traveling, what I'm often doing is searching for tea near me because I want to find a good tea house. And all I get are fucking bubble tea places, and I don't want bubble tea. And it's just like, you can't always tell by the name. And so then I have to click on their website and be like, no, this is just bubble tea. This is not a tea house. And there's so many of them. So I just feel like there's more than I want there to be. Yeah.
Well, maybe
the same thing will happen. And,
yogurt shops.
Yeah. I mean, again, although I don't want rid of all of them, occasionally I want bubble tea, just way, way less than I want non-bubble tea.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't ever want bubble tea.
Oh, you don't like it?
I don't. No, it's weird. I don't like them.
You don't like the bubbles? You don't like the tapioca? You don't like the tapioca pearls?
I don't. No, it's weird.
I mean, it is weird. But like, I don't know. A few years ago, I was saying like, I want my beverages to get weirder. I've drank a lot of beverages. Really? Let's get them weirder, like for this part of my life. Why not drink things that are kind of strange? Like, I like Italian sodas that taste, like a fancy soap. Like, I like a lavender Italian soda, or rose or something. Yeah.
How do you feel about the olive oil lattes and stuff at Starbucks?
I don't drink coffee, so I haven't noticed them. I haven't paid attention, honestly.
Okay.
That sounds a little too weird for me. That sounds like something you'd have to drink before you got a procedure or something. I don't know.
You did once buy me a juniper latte.
I got you a juniper latte. That's right.
It was awful. It was so terrible. Tasted like drinking a Christmas tree. It was so bad. Yes, I am making a romantasy. I don't think I ever got to my point about the gift of fear. I'm making a romantasy decision tree. And I should say, like, romantic fantasy, some just fantasy, I want to, I don't know. I think I'm being just a snob and feeling like,
I
no,
think you're
these
being
are
a
actually
snob.
good books.
I sound cranky with the genre
Yeah.
only because of my own trying to sell my own book and feeling like
Yeah.
that's not the big trend right now.
Well, I also feel like there are like way too many people that are just trying to redo ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses.
I see.
And that's really annoying. And so I've read a lot of books that are not going on the decision tree that are like just people trying to get in on the people
Yeah.
trying to get in on the trend and not
In the same way that like when Gone Girl came out, all of a sudden there's
Yes.
all these books with girl in the title, some of which are
Right.
good, some of which are not so good. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl in Cabin 10, not crazy about it.
Girl on the Train. It's
Pretty good.
Pretty good. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The Gift
None
of
of them
Fear, though.
had yes. I was just gonna say none of them were as good as Gone Girl. Gone Girl is
Yeah.
incredible. Like it's
Yeah.
in its own class. It's so well done.
Yeah. Well, none of them are as good as, well, no, I would say Throne of Glass is her better series. But anyway, I
Okay.
digress. But
Gift
you
of
should
Fear,
read
though.
ACOTAR first. Yeah. There is a part where he's talking about, for lack of a better term, stranger danger.
Okay.
But like for grown-ups, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing, it's essentially
It's for
about
grown-ups.
that.
It's
Yeah.
a book for grown-ups.
Yeah. Not YA.
Yeah.
And
it's not something you read to William and Hugo
yeah, no.
at bedtime.
And he's talking about how it's always like if your car breaks down or if you're lost or like you need help somehow, your odds of asking a random person and them being a creep are a lot less than someone who would approach you.
God, that's really interesting. That's a good
Yes.
point. That makes sense.
Yes, because the type of person who would approach you in that situation is more likely, it could be someone well-intentioned, but it's more likely than picking out of the general population that they would be someone wanting to prey on you.
Yeah. I've had 2 experiences, neither of which make me look real good, in which I've gotten help from a random guy on like the roadside. And in both cases, in one case, he stopped to help me, but it was a very busy road. It would have been very hard to abduct me. Why did he stop to help me? I had pulled over on the side of a busy road because there was an earwig in my car. And I was scared of it crawling on me, and I didn't know what to do. And so he got rid of the earwig for me and drove away.
Very nice.
Then the other time was I ran out of gas, and I was right by his driveway, and so he was pulling out to go to work and saw me, and so that feels a little more random and therefore safer. So, and also he was driving a minivan, which again I just feel like statistically made me safer.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's true, but like,
right.
Anyway, I had a little can of gas, and he took me to the gas station so I could get it filled, and I didn't put the cap on right, and I definitely got gasoline in his car, on his car seats, and on my sweater.
God.
Yeah. And so then like I was going to teach, and it was like my second day of that semester, and I was late, and so then I showed up and I smelled like gasoline because it was all over my sweater.
Oh God, that's awful.
It's not great. It was not great.
Man. Well, to finish up, we have a listener story, don't we?
We have a listener story, and I have an update about something I shared last time.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Do tell.
I got an email.
No kidding. From
Yes.
two mystery ghost?
Yes, the mysterious ghost received an email. Yeah. So I got ha 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 ha. I believe that has to be the most belated you're welcome I've ever received. Thanks again, mysterious ghost. And he CC'd a woman as well. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't know this reference, just listen to the previous episode and listen to the end where we talk about the mysterious ghost. Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming the person he was living with at the time.
I'm assuming, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he replied. I was delighted.
Yeah.
I just love that he's like, Lydia embraced calling me mysterious ghost. So yeah.
Yeah. And also being so polite with follow through. It's very nice.
Yeah. I know. I kind of want to send him something else.
Yeah. So listener story.
Oh, listener story. Yeah. So All right, so this story is coming from a listener. We'll call her Anne, and we're anonymizing her because she didn't tell this to me in a sense of, hey, you should share this on your podcast. She just happens to be a listener. She was asleep, and she was woken from a sound sleep by a voice saying Bob, possibly saying God, but also more likely Bob. And so she woke up. She looked around. There was no source of the voice.
Huh.
So very, very short story, but very, creepy, weird.
Could she have
You haven't
been
watched Twin
dreaming?
Peaks. She could have,
No,
but
I haven't.
sure. Yeah, she could have. I mean, I think odds are, yeah, she was dreaming because I feel like I've had that where I'm just in like the right sleep stage where
Mhm.
I'm dreaming something and somebody says something in my dream and I think it's real, like that sort of
Yeah.
blurry boundary between reality and dreaming. Um, but if you've watched Twin Peaks, listeners, the story has a different feel to it.
Oh, really?
Yes. Bob
Why?
is a villain on Twin Peaks who's supernatural.
Oh,
And
really?
me and Chris got kind of obsessed with Bob. The guy who plays him was actually just like working on the set and he like walks by in a scene and can be seen in a mirror and it was an accident. And David Lynch decided, hey, this guy's creepy looking. Let's put him into the show.
Oh
And
my
he's got like
gosh.
long, scraggly gray hair and he's crazy and scary and he's
Whoa.
supernatural. And oh, but then my old dog Teresa, she could have an attitude sometimes. She would get resource guarding about food and she'd get
Yeah.
really snarly and she'd do a lot of like mind games with the other dogs where she wouldn't eat her food until they'd go for it and then she'd snarl at them and get really mean. And so it was like she'd get suddenly like she'd be sweet, and then she'd be evil. And so we would say, she's being a Bob. She's Bob. She's been, it's like Bob has possessed Teresa. And so
Aw.
yeah, so that's what I think about with Bob. So I was just like, the fact that it was Bob made it a little creepy.
Yeah.
I guess God would also probably be more creepy, one would think, if you actually hear
Yeah.
something. But
Yeah.
I don't know, you should watch Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Huh.
almost definitely a dream, but
Yeah.
I wanted
Interesting.
to share it anyway. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Well,
yeah, you should watch Twin Peaks. You really should. It is weird and good, and it's weird that you haven't watched it already, honestly.
I mean, I went through a period of watching a lot of David Lynch.
It is a lot
Um,
more accessible than his movies.
okay. Okay. I it I don't know if I have any desire left in me to have anything else to do with David Lynch. Like I watched a
Okay.
lot of it to try to impress a guy.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of feel like, oh, I don't know. Just show me entertaining things. I don't know. Stop it.
I think Twin
Like,
Peaks is much, much more entertaining than his movies. Like
I
it's
do like the guy.
yeah, Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
love him. He's great.
Hmm.
Most of the side characters are great. And there's some really neat, creepy stuff. And
Hmm.
yeah, there's this scene where this one guy murders someone and then he
Hmm.
wakes up in the morning and all his hair is turned white and he's all chipper and he's singing that song that's like Maresy Dotes and Dozy Dotes
Oh
and he's
God.
like dancing around and singing that and like I don't know why I just love that scene.
Oh,
So
that sounds terrifying.
I mean it's like it's ridiculous and
Oh,
like
okay. Okay.
um it's very David Lynch. It's like ridiculous and creepy at the same time, but like
Yeah.
it's quite captivating. Um
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
It made me think of the movie Insidious, where you see the like little boy and you hear tiptoe through the tulips.
I don't think I've
With
ever
like,
seen Insidious, have I?
really?
I don't know.
I don't know. It was real
Is it the
creepy.
Tiny Tim version that's playing?
I don't
Tiptoe Through
know
the
what
Tulips?
version, but yeah, it's
I mean, is it the like high
tip-
falsetto?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that might be Tiny Tim. Yeah.
yeah. It was I mean, it was creepy. There's like a
Yeah.
little old-fashioned ghost boy.
Oh,
Um, yeah,
that's not the span. No, that's the orphanage. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't think
yeah.
I know Insidious. I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, it scared me pretty bad.
Hmm.
It was pretty
It,
scary.
it's not
It
that
was
Korean one with the shoulders.
no, no, no. It was American. It came out in maybe, I don't know, 2009,
Hmm.
10, somewhere in there, I'd
Hmm.
guess. peak yogurt time. I mean, somewhere,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that
right.
listener will have to keep us updated.
Yes. And if you hear anything else, let us know.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
And next episode is what? And whose is it? Mine, then, I guess?
Well, I mean, we both shared this one, so I'm happy to take the next one if you'd like.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Hang on. Let's see which one it is, and then I'm going to decide.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's
see. Exile Season 2. The next one is in German, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Die Hand de Verlitz. Die Hand de Verlitz. Oh, it's a good one. It's got like a devil worshipping PTA.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then you take it. Yeah,
I'll take it.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Great. Sounds good. All right. Well, until next time. Bye.
All right, bye.